So, morning everyone. We're going to do a little bit of a mashup this morning. So it's going to be rocket, but it's also going to be a little bit like a Dharma class. I've just kind of thrown everything in, so hopefully it should be quite good fun. Don't worry about props or anything like that. We are going to begin in child's pose. So just start to make your way there, getting yourself comfortable. Knees can come nice and wide, big toes together, and then just start to walk the hands forwards so that the heart space and the forehead begin to descend down toward the floor. Then give yourself a few moments, as always, just to center yourself, to begin to close the eyes. And starting to draw your attention from your external environment inwards. So just tuning into how you're feeling right now. Noticing the physical sensations throughout your body. And looking through to understand what you're feeling right now. Making a little mental note if there are any spaces in the body where you are sensing tightness, where you are experiencing discomfort. But similarly, thinking about where you feel open and spacious in your body too. Once you've completed that physical scan, starting to notice how you're feeling energetically. Whether you are full of beans today or whether you're feeling a bit tired, a little bit exhausted. Noticing the emotions and the sensations that are coming up in your mind. And just doing your best to not label them, not consider them to be good or bad. Just acknowledging them for what they are. And then finally starting to connect with a slightly deeper breath. Inviting a little restriction into the back of your throat. Starting to tune into the sound of the breath, but also feeling the movement of the breath through the body. There's a full expansion and retraction in both belly and rib cage on the inhale and the exhale. Maybe a sense of trying to breathe into the back of your body, into the lowest back ribs. And on every exhale, having a sense of letting go of any tension that you're holding on to or anything that isn't serving you right now. Taking your internal gaze down toward heart space. And just take a moment here to consider what you might like to have as your intention for this practice this morning. If you're feeling a bit knackered or a bit frazzled at the moment, please don't worry about having yourself as your intention. You're always welcome to do that. But if there's someone or something else, then feel free to offer that up too. Keep breathing as deeply as you can. A sense of stoking your internal fire with your breath. This breath that anchors us down into our practice and helps us to focus. And in our practice this morning, we're going to try and find the balance between effort and ease. We're going to look for that sweet spot in every posture where things might be a little bit challenging, but where we're still able to breathe and remain connected to our practice. It can be really tricky some days to control the ego, or some days are the expectations that we set for ourselves take precedence in our practice and they override how we feel and what we're experiencing. So there's this real sense of listening in today, taking note and responding in a way that feels good for you. So with this deep and expansive breath still moving, I want you to begin to press the palms of your hands into the floor so that the elbows just gently lift up and away from the mat. And we're going to take it into a little side stretch from here. So gently begin to walk your hands over to the right side of your mat, piling left hand on top of the right, and then press your left sit bone back toward the left heel as you open up through the side body. Relax your neck and let your forehead meet the floor once more so neck can be soft. Huge expansive breaths in, traveling into the side body. Maybe as you exhale, if you want to, taking it a little deeper by walking your left fingertips a little further away and a little bit further toward the right. Take one more big breath in. And then gently start to walk the hands back to the center and all the way over to the left this time. So right hand piles on top of left, sitting the right sit bone back toward right heel, relaxing the neck, maybe the forehead touches down to the floor again. Remaining connected to the deep breath, keeping the shoulders and the jaw nice and soft. And then on your next inhale, gently walking the hands back to the center of the mat, pressing into the palms, making your way up onto all fours. So let's just do a little bit of cat-cow to mobilize the spine this morning. So just moving at your own pace here. On your inhale, drop the belly down toward the floor, looking forwards and lifting up through the body, through the bottom. Exhale, press down through the hands and arch all the way up between the shoulder blades. Keeping this movement going. So nice big breaths in, drop the chest down, lift the bottom, lift the gaze. And exhale, press through the palms and arch all the way up between your shoulders. Maybe closing the eyes if that feels good and just starting to move in time with your personal breath. Again, continuing that sense of exploration as you notice what's going on in your body. And then if it feels good for you to experiment with other movements, maybe you're moving in opposite directions by rolling through the torso or moving forwards and backwards, then just do what feels intuitive for you this morning. A sense of allowing the body to open up in its own time and its own pace. And then very gently starting to find your way back to stillness, coming to that space between midway between cat and cow. Turn your fingertips out to face the outer edges of the mat and start to take your little rocks from left to right. Just starting to warm up the wrists. Finding that nice opening through the front of the forearm, keeping the palms of the hands grounded to the floor as you rock. Good. Start to find your way back to the center. Continue to spin the fingertips round to face toward the knees, and then gently start to rock backwards and forwards. Maybe even tucking under the toes if that feels good. Again, make sure that you're not working into any areas of pain. Think about that balance between effort and ease, that connection to your breath. And on your next out breath, sit your bottom as far back toward the heels as you comfortably can and just hold it there. Nice deep breaths into the wrists, into the fronts of the forearms. Soften the shoulders, let the chin just dip in toward the chest here. If you need to maybe sigh it out through the mouth, you're very welcome to do so. Well done. And then gently come forwards. Spiral the hands back the right way round, and then sit back onto the heels or find a nice comfortable seat for a few moments. So we'll just do our little forearm warm up, give the wrists a shake out. And we're going to start by stretching the arms out in front, palms face down toward the floor. So as always, just opening and closing the hands as quickly as you can, keeping it going. Nice big breaths here. And I'll start to count us down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Arms out to the side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Above the head. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands out in front, turn the palms to sky this time and keep going. 10, good. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out to the side. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Give your hands and wrists a nice little shake out. Whew. And from here, we're just going to start to make our way into downward facing dog. So in your own time, just start to spread the palms nice and wide on the floor, curling under the toes, and then eventually sending the bottom up nice and high, pressing the heels down toward the mat. So just taking a few moments here to pedal out through the feet, particularly if you've got tightness through the hamstrings and the calves this morning. And as always, if you want to just let the head sway left to right, maybe just soften into the shoulders a little bit or give the hips a wiggle. You're doing whatever that you need to in order to find a little bit more space through the back of your body. Make sure as you move, you're still connected to that deep and expansive breath. Breathing all the way down into the belly and all the way up and across your rib cage. Good. Starting to find your way to stillness through your feet, reaching back through the heels, pressing the mat away with the palms. Let's just take it through a couple of vinyasas to get warm. So as you inhale, come up onto the balls of your feet, begin to ripple the upper body forwards to find your high plank. Pausing there for a moment, squeezing the belly button in, inner thighs squeeze together. Now on your exhale, just lower your knees down. Let's take a little chaturanga variation here. So the shoulders rock forwards of the line of the wrists and we're just lowering halfway down. So squeeze the elbows tight to side rib cage and hold it there. Now draw in the tummy and slide the shoulder blades away from the ears. Holding it here for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Come all the way down onto your belly. And then inhale, slide yourself forwards to find Cobra Pose. Roll the shoulders away from the ears, lift up through the chest. Nice full breath in. Exhale, take your heart space to the floor, tuck under your toes, come up and back, finding downward facing dog. Full breath in through your nose, let it out through your mouth.
Good. Second round. Inhale, ripple forwards, find your high plank, pause. Exhale, again, lower both knees down to the floor. Another little chaturanga variation here. Slide the shoulders forwards, squeeze the elbows, come halfway down, hold it there. Drawing in the tummy. And now from here, if you want to intensify this a little bit more, tuck under the toes and find your way into full chaturanga, holding it here for 3, for 2, and for 1. Inhale, coming forwards, either finding cobra or lifting thighs and shins for up dog. And then on your exhale, coming all the way back into downward facing. Deep breath in, full breath out. Good, one more to go. Inhale, come forwards, finding your way to high plank. If you're ready for full chaturanga, please feel free to take it. Otherwise, knees, chest, and belly to the floor. Inhale, coming forwards to find cobra or up dog. And exhale, moving backwards into downward facing. Full breath in. Deep breath out. Now, take a full breath in through your nose. On your exhale, if you can, lower both elbows to the floor at the same time. So moving toward dolphin. Once your forearms touch down, I want you just to walk your elbows a little closer to one another. Now press down through the forearms, look forwards towards your thumbs, and maybe walk your toes in a little closer towards your elbows if you can. Nice big inhale, rise up onto the balls of the feet, start to bring the chin forward. See if you can stack it over top of your thumbs. Now exhale, press the mat away, chest back between your arms, looking toward your toes, dolphin. Twice more like that. Inhale, ripple forwards, bring your chin in line with your thumbs, and exhale, press the mat away, chest back toward the thighs. Last one, inhale, moving forwards. Exhale, pressing the mat away, coming all the way back into your dolphin. Well done. Now from here, start to come back up onto the hands and find downward facing dog. Full breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, ripple yourself forwards into your high plank, and on your out breath, lower both knees down to the floor. Thread the needle. Inhale, reach your right arm up to sky, open your chest, and on your exhale, thread your right arm between your left hand and left knee so that you can bring the right ear all the way down to the floor. Start to breathe even deeper and press through the palm of your left hand to perhaps deepen the intensity of the stretch here. Good. If you want to experiment with a different variation, feel free to wrap your left hand behind the back, maybe even stretching the left leg out behind. You can keep the toes tucked, or you might like to float the left foot away from the floor. Just choose the variation that feels most comfortable in your body today. Each inhale, left shoulder rolls back a little bit more, heart space opens to sky a little bit more. Good job. One more big breath in. If your back leg is lifted, lower the left knee and then spiral the left hand down to the floor, press through the palm and open all the way back up again. So chest opens to side wall. Now from here, you're going to point your left toes toward the long edge of the mat behind you and step your right foot to the back of the mat to find your way into a side plank variation. Holding it here, draw the belly in, keep pressing the mat away with the left palm, and if you're coming slightly deeper, see if you can float the right foot away from the floor. If you'd like to bind here, bend the right knee, take hold of the top of the foot, and then press foot into hand to open up through your chest. Shoulder blades squeeze back in together. Make sure that you're switching on your bottom and your belly. One more full breath in. Gently release the bind if you have it. And now look down and we're going to step the right foot alongside the left hand. Good. Big breath in. Exhale, lower your right hand to the inner edge of the front foot. Tuck under the back toes, side angle pose, grounding the left heel and stretching the left arm all the way up alongside our ear. Now, if this is a little too much for the hip, remember you can always bring the right forearm onto the right thigh if you prefer. As you inhale, roll left shoulder back. Maybe you're gazing up underneath the left armpit. Another full breath in. Now exhale, press the mat away, reverse warrior, coming all the way up. Left hand wraps behind, right arm reaches up alongside the ear. Find as much space through the right side waist as you can. Think about your ribs knitting into the torso so we're not flaring forwards. Good. Keep pressing through the outer edge of your front foot to lift up through the inner right arch. Good job. One more full breath in. Begin to straighten your front leg, hands to hips for a moment. Turn your right toes in, moving into Prasarita variation. Interlace the hands behind your back. Roll the shoulder blades back to open up through the chest. And on your exhale, hinge from the hips and begin to take a forward fold from here. So imagining that you're trying to juice an orange between your palms. You're really squeezing the palms into the center line in order to find a deeper release for your neck. Let go of the weight of your head, allow it to hang heavy. And then think about what's going on in your feet here. So rock the weight forwards into the balls of the feet and press the outer edges down into the floor. Nice big breaths into the backs of the legs. This is such a good pose for opening up the low back, particularly if you're someone who suffers with sciatica. Just take one more full inhale. Lift the chest halfway, lower your fingertips down to the floor, and we're going to bend into the back knee, come onto the heel of the right foot to find Skandasana. So sitting the bottom as low as feels comfortable to you. Left hand comes to the mat, inhale the right arm high, open up through your chest. You can either stay here, or if you want to play with a bind, take your right arm behind and then left fingertips reach for the opposite hand. Inhale to the center of your heart space, roll the chest open toward the ceiling and see if you can slide right shoulder onto the upper back a little bit further. Good. Another deep breath in. And on your exhale, bring your fingertips down to the floor, traveling to the top of the mat. Hands come either side of front foot. Three-legged dog, step your right leg all the way up and behind. Good. Bend the right knee to open up through your hip and simply turn your gaze underneath your left armpit so that you can spot your toes floating around in space. Take another full breath in. Exhale, let's move through our vinyasa here. So you can keep the right leg floating for your vinyasa or bringing toes down to the floor, finding full or half chaturanga. And then on your inhale, finding your way through to cobra or up dog. Exhaling all the way back into downward facing, send your bottom nice and high. Deep breath in, full breath out. Second side, inhale, ripple forwards, find your high plank. Exhale, lower both knees down to the mat. Inhale, stretch left arm to sky, open the chest. Exhale, thread the needle. So taking the left arm down between your right hand and knee. And then press the mat away with the right palm. So you start to intensify the opening through the outer left shoulder here. Relax the jaw and the neck. And if you're coming deeper on this side, again, you're wrapping the right hand behind you. Maybe you're tucking under the right toes and you're welcome to float the right foot away from the floor if that feels good for you. Just move into the variation which feels most comfortable and steady in your body. And then once you're there, revisit the breath and send it into any space that is feeling a little tight or tense today. Good, take one more full inhale. If your back leg is lifted, lower the right knee down to the floor, spiral your right hand down to the mat, and then breathe in to stretch your left arm high, open up through your chest. Good. Taking it into our side plank variation, turn your right toes toward the long edge of the mat behind you. Take your left foot to the back of the mat and open up through the front body. Good. Start to float the left foot away from the floor. Option to take a bind here by bending the left knee and holding onto the top of the foot. If you have the bind, press the heart space forwards and squeeze your shoulder blades back and together. Nice stretch for your left quad. Deep breath in, full breath out. One more. Good, if you have the bind, start to release. Look down, placing your left foot alongside your right hand, chest is open, and we take it into the floor. Tuck under the back toes to ground the back heel, and right arm reaches up alongside the ear. We're opening the chest up toward the ceiling. Good. Yes, lovely. Think about pressing your hips forwards into space and leaning the upper body back to bring your spine into one plane. Drishti underneath the right armpit if that's comfortable for your neck. Nice big breath in, press down through the soles of your feet, reverse warrior, coming all the way up. Right arm comes behind, left arm comes alongside your ear. To find more space through the left side body, keep sinking down low into the front knee and reaching the left fingertips to the space behind you. Soften shoulders from ears. Another deep breath in. Full breath out. And then as you inhale, lengthen through the front leg, coming into another Prasarita variation. Turn the left toes in, reach your hands up to the sky, look up. And on your exhale, this time we're forward folding with the hands toward the floor. So plant the hands down to the mat and rock the weight forwards into the toes. On your exhale, softening into your elbows and starting to fold a little deeper. If your palms are completely flat, begin to walk your fingertips back until they line up with the tips of your toes and hug the inner elbows together. So you're creating that chaturanga shelf in your arms. Lengthen through the back of your neck as you turn your gaze up toward your belly. And breathe into the backs of your legs once more. Softening your jaw. Maybe even closing your eyes if that feels good here. Let gravity take you deeper. One more big breath in. Lift up through the chest. Now this time we're walking the fingertips toward the right foot, bending the right knee, come onto the left heel as you sink your bottom down. Good. So stage one, right hand to floor, left arm to sky, open up through the chest. And if you want to bind here again, left hand comes behind your back and you're reaching for the opposite fingertips. Excellent. Nice big breath in. Balloon the heart space open, turning to look at the ceiling. Exhale to slide the left shoulder onto the upper back. Keep flexing through your left toes and pressing down through the sole of your right foot for stability. Nice job. Inhale deeply. On your exhale, fingertips to the floor, transferring yourself to the top of the mat. Hands come either side of your front foot, stepping back into three-legged dog. Left leg reaches up nice and high. Bend your left knee to open up through your hip and turn your gaze underneath your right armpit to see your toes floating in space. Deep breath in, full breath out. Well done. Vinyasa. Inhale, coming all the way forwards into your high plank. Exhale, lowering down through full or half chaturanga. Inhale, chest opens, cobra or up dog. And then exhale all the way back into your downward facing. Send the bottom high, press down through the palms. Take a full breath in and a deep and expansive breath out. Side plank variation. So you're going to come onto the outer edge of your left foot, either stacking your right foot on top, or if you're just a little wobbly today, you can take your right foot to the floor in front. Breathe in, stretch your right arm up toward the ceiling, and think about trying to lift the outer left hip as high away from the floor as you can. There's a sense that you're reaching up through your right fingertips like you're trying to touch the sky. Take one more big breath into the right side body. Now I want you to draw the right knee toward your chest and then step your right foot forwards to find your way into easy twisting lunge. Perfect, well done. Inhale, reach up through the right hand, look toward the right fingertips. And from here, we're going to come up into a twisted high lunge now. So press the feet into the floor, lift up through the arms. And from here, oh my gosh, I can't come up this morning. There we go, better. Left arm alongside the ear, right fingertips to the back of the left thigh. So really opening the chest forwards, drawing in the belly, And let's take it into a twisted high lunge. So bend the left elbow, hook it over the right knee, palms come together, and then press into the center line to begin to revolve through your chest. As you inhale, think about lengthening through the crown of your head. As you exhale, reach back through your left heel to find a little more stability through your back leg. Another deep inhale. Looking forwards, we're going to step forwards into a twisted chair, my favorite transition of the week. So feet come side by side, bend the knees and sit nice and low into your chair. Now from here, we're going to have a little bit of an experiment this morning with side crow. So I'll mirror you here. Begin to sink down into your knees, lifting the heels away from the floor if you can. Good. So you're in the twist, and then you're going to start to bring the hands down toward the floor. So the hands come a good kind of shoulder distance apart, soften into the elbows, and think about creating that chaturanga shelf shape with the arms. So you're hugging into the center line. Now look forwards and see if you can lay the outer edge of your right thigh onto the back of the elbows. And as you do that, you might find that it's possible to lift the left toes away from the floor and perhaps eventually the right toes as well. Good. If you can, you could lengthen out through the legs, or you might even want to split the legs and play around with a little split variation. Just do what feels good in your body. Good job. Take another full breath in. If the feet are lifted, gently bring them down to the floor. Facing the front of your mat, take the hands down, send the bottom high, have a little forward fold here. Softening into the knees, let the head hang heavy. Good. You can either stay here for a couple of resting breaths or start to make your way into crow pose. So look to the top of the mat, just beyond the hands. Begin to take the knees into the back of the armpits and then transfer the weight toward the fingertips to see if you can start to float one set of toes away from the floor, perhaps the other, or perhaps even both at some stage. So nice big breaths here. Remember that looking forwards will really help to create a counterbalance between your head and your bottom. Good job. When you're ready, step back into three-legged dog. Take your right leg high. Good. Bend the right knee, open the hip. Now this time we're going to flip it into wild thing. So right toes come down to the floor, right arm reaches high, opening up through the chest, lifting up through the hips. And then gently spiraling all the way back, finding down dog or moving through a vinyasa if you'd like to. Just having that moment to reconnect movement and breath. Good job. Full breath in. Deep and expansive breath out. Let's take our side plank variation to the second side. So this time rock onto the outer edge of the right foot, either left foot stacking on top, or you can ground it to the floor in front if you prefer. Left arm reaches up nice and high, open up through the bottom hip. Again, think about being magnetized towards the ceiling through your left hand. Good job. Inhale. Think about drawing the left knee toward your chest and then step it forwards alongside the right hand to find your way into easy twisting lunge. Good. Get that steadiness through the feet and then start to press the mat away and rise all the way up into our twisted high lunge. Left hand to back of right thigh, right arm reaching up alongside the ear. Nice deep breaths here. Good, moving into our high lunge twist. Right elbow crosses over left thigh, bring the palms together, press them into the center line and begin to turn through the upper body. See if you can reach through the right heel even more, finding length through the back of the leg. Yes, good. Inhale, look toward the top of the mat, stepping the feet side by side, twisted chair. Sit nice and low into your seat. Again, option here to play around with our side crow. So if you're coming into it, start to sink a little deeper into the squat and then take the hands down to the floor alongside you. So again here, the hands are a good shoulder distance. We want elbows to hug into the center line to create that little shelf, and you're looking forward. So this time it's the back of this left thigh that's going to rest onto the back of the upper arms. Make sure that you're looking ahead, and then see if you can start to float maybe the top set of toes away from the floor, maybe eventually the bottom as well. And once you start to float the feet, yes, lovely. Then maybe you start to get a little bit creative. Weirdly, it's kind of easier to split the legs, sending the right leg high, than to extend both of them out at the same time. So have a little bit of a play. Excellent. Okay, turn to face the top of the mat, finding your forward fold, send the butt high, relax the neck and let your head hang nice and heavy. Full breath in, deep breath out. And again, you can stay here for a couple of breaths, or moving into Bakasana, grounding the hands to the floor, looking forwards, and then sinking your knees into the armpits. The bottom stays super high as you transfer the weight, and maybe you're playing around with lifting one set of toes and the other. Maybe you're lifting both feet away from the floor. Yes, beautiful. And then when you're ready, stepping, hopping or floating back into three-legged dog with your left leg high, pointing up through the toes. And then when you're ready, bending your left knee and flipping your dog to find wild thing. Open the chest, lift up through the hips, reaching through the left fingertips. Good job. Spiraling yourself all the way back around, taking yourself through your vinyasa, or if you want to come straight into child's pose for a couple of breaths or into downward facing dog, you're always welcome to take those options. So give yourself a moment or two in your down dog to close your eyes, just to reset the rhythm of your breath, particularly if it's starting to get a little bit labored. Maybe there's a big sigh out through your mouth that you need to take. Really nice work. Okay, and let's start to find our way back into down dog. So our final flow here. Really nicely done. So we're going to take another side plank variation from here. What I'd like you to do is just make your down dog slightly shorter. So walk your toes in just a little bit. And now, rather than spinning onto the knife edge of the left foot, I want you to kind of press the sole of the left foot down into the floor. So rather than kind of being, I don't know how well you can see this, rather than being like here, I want you to press down through the whole of the left foot. So the right leg can kind of lift up a little bit easier. So then as you start to turn your body toward the side wall, you can free up the right arm. You can either hold on to the right knee, or if it's possible, you might want to take hold of the right big toe with your peace fingers and your thumb and start to stretch the right leg up toward the ceiling. Yes, good. Lovely. Now again, we're looking forwards and placing the right foot alongside the left hand. Good. Well done. Lower the back knee down and start to lengthen out through your front leg, coming into a Hanuman variation of your choice. So if you want to work in half splits this morning, feel free to stay here. Otherwise, you can start to just gently shuffle the front foot forwards, the back foot back, and come a little deeper into your split. If you do have cushions or blocks or anything like that that you want to pop underneath the front thigh or underneath the hands, please feel free to do so. Take some nice, full and expansive breaths and really think about exhaling as deeply as you can. Maybe there's a sigh out of the mouth to be had here. Relax your jaw and your shoulders. And rather than thinking about pushing yourself deeper into this pose, see if you can just let gravity take you there. Let's take 2 more nice big breaths into the back of the right leg. Well done. So let's gently find our way into a little low lunge position. So the sole of the right foot is grounded, the left knee is on the floor, and we're going to walk the right foot across the mat to lower the right knee into pigeon. So if you need to use any blocks or props underneath the right seat, feel free. And if it's a little bit too intense for your right hip, then draw your right heel slightly closer to pubic bone. Now inhale, lift up through the chest and really press the mat away with the front shin as much as you can. You can stay here, we're going to stay lifted for a few breaths, or you can start to bend into the back knee and draw the left heel toward the left bottom. If it's possible to move the top of the foot into the crook of the elbow, that's there for you. If you want to try and bind, you can reach the right fingertips back for the opposite hand. But as much as you can here, try to avoid turning your whole body to face the side wall and see if you can keep your hips and your chest nice and square toward the top of the mat. Good. Big, big breaths into the left quad. Sighing out through the mouth, anything that isn't serving you. Again, finding that balance between effort and ease. Good, one more full breath in. And then gently releasing the back foot and coming all the way down into sleeping pigeon. Walk the hands forwards and start to release your forehead down, either to rest on the mat or on your hands. Taking a few nice, big, expansive breaths here. Allow the upper body to sink down into the floor. And just be very receptive to what comes up for you in this posture. Whether it's feelings, sensations, emotions. Again, try to practice detached awareness. Watch them come up and then let them go. Good, last big breath in. And then slowly but surely come back up onto your hands. And we're going to step back into three-legged dog again. So tuck under the back toes, lift your right leg up and back behind you, bending the right knee to open the hip, and then flipping your dog to find wild thing, or if you want to come straight over into wheel, you're very welcome to do so. Keep lifting up the chest and the hips, keep breathing nice and deeply, gorgeous, really nice poses, and then gently start to spiral yourself back around to find your way through a vinyasa and meet back in downward facing dog. Once you arrive in your down dog, just close the eyes, soften the shoulders away from the ears. Start to listen into your breath once more. Great work. Let's take all that to the second side now. So remember, we're making our downward facing dog slightly shorter, and then we're coming onto the right foot. So rather than being on the knife edge, you want to try and make the right big toe press down into the mat, and that way it feels a little easier to free up the left arm. And you can either take hold of the left knee, take it high, or see if you can take your peace fingers and your thumb around the left big toe and stretch your leg straight up toward the ceiling. Yes, beautiful. 4 breaths in, 4 breaths out. Look forward, step your left foot alongside the right hand. Good. Lower the back knee down, half Hanuman or full Hanuman. Start to take your bottom back and straighten the front leg. Give yourself a moment to arrive in the shape, and then revisit your breath and start to soften the spaces in your body that you can soften right now. So you might be relaxing into the shoulders. Maybe you're releasing tension in the jaw by gently sliding the bottom set of teeth left to right. Think about trying to wrap the outer right hip forward so that you're nice and square toward the top of your mat. Just a couple more nice big breaths. Again, allow gravity to take you there. Try not to force yourself into it too much. I know it's still early in the day. Well done. And then when you're ready, let's start to come back into that kind of little low lunge stance. So the front foot is grounded, the right knee comes down to the floor, and we can wiggle the left foot across the mat to move into pigeon. Use props if you need, play around with the positioning of the front foot if you need, lift up through the chest. And then when you're ready, beginning to bend the right knee and reach back for the top of your foot. So remember, you can draw the heel in towards your bottom. You can move the top of the foot into the crook of the elbow and maybe even find a bind here. But regardless of where you are with your variation, think about trying to keep your chest, your hips completely square to the top of the mat. Good, roll the shoulders back, nice big breaths. And just taking a little bit of time to allow that right quad to release whatever it's holding on to. Take 2 more full and expansive breaths into the right quad. Gently let go of the back leg, finding your way into sleeping pigeon. Hands walk forward, maybe the forehead touches down to the floor, or you could always rest your forehead onto your hands. Listening into the sound of your breath. Observing what's coming up for you in your body today. What's coming up for you in your mind. And in your own time, starting to make your way back up onto your hands, curling under the back toes, 3-legged dog, left leg goes high. And then bending your left knee, opening up through your hip and flipping your dog to find your wild thing, or maybe even your wheel if you want to take it there. Chest is open, hips are high, and then slowly start to spiral yourself down to the floor, finding your way through your vinyasa, or maybe just hanging out in down dog if you prefer. Big sigh out through your mouth in down dog, let it go. And let's just gently ripple forwards into high plank and lower all the way down onto our belly. Once you arrive there, slide the elbows forwards. So we're entering almost like into a little Sphinx pose. But I want you to press the palms into the floor and lift your elbows away to find a seal. Coming into a reclined twist, thread your right arm underneath the left. Start to move onto the side body. The left knee draws up toward, kind of in line with the belly button, and then the left arm sweeps out behind. So eventually the backs of the shoulders will reach the floor. Think about trying to get the backs of the shoulders grounded rather than the left knee. Once you open up into your twist, just give yourself a few breaths to sink into it. Moving deeper and deeper on every exhale, allowing yourself even more opportunity to release and let go. Well done. Breathing in, lengthening out through both legs, rolling back over onto your tummy, finding that Sphinx-like position, and then pressing the hands into the floor to lift the elbows. And this time the left arm threads under, the right knee moves up in line with the belly button, and the right arm opens up. Backs of the shoulders begin to ground. Relax into your belly and just allow gravity to draw the right knee closer to the mat. Again, that sense of letting go of the expectations that we place on ourselves. Perhaps starting to allow the breath to become more natural. Letting go of the Ujjayi breath. And start to feel your heart rate dropping down a little bit now. And then gently making your way onto your back. So you probably rolled off your mat, so just shuffle yourself back on. And we'll just take it into a little happy baby from here. So draw the knees into the chest, have the soles of the feet like you're standing on the ceiling, and either wrap your hands around the backs of your thighs, or perhaps even take hold of the outer edges of your feet here. Feel your low back ground into the floor. Awareness into the back of the body, feeling it growing heavier and heavier and heavier. And if it feels good to you to maybe incorporate a little rock from left to right, please feel free to do so. If staying still feels more restful, then keeping yourself there. Let's just take 3 big breaths, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. So whenever you're ready, and then gently finding your way into final Shavasana. So just see how you're feeling here. If it feels good to extend the legs along the floor, then go for it. Otherwise, you might want to have the soles of the feet mat width and the knees knocking inwards, or vice versa. The arms can either be alongside the body, or maybe you're resting your hands onto your belly or your chest. Allowing your breath to neutralize. Let your eyes close. And begin to allow everything to settle. So for these final moments of your practice today, nothing is expected of you. You have nowhere else to be. Just enjoy this opportunity to completely relax.
So if you've got a little bit more time this morning and you want to stay in your Shavasana a little longer, then please feel free to. But if you a little bit of life back into the body. I think my microphone cut out. Taking your time, starting to find your way up into your seat in your own time. And as you arrive there, just drawing your hands into prayer at your heart center. Bowing your chin towards your chest. And let's just seal the energy of this practice this morning with the sound of Om. So when you're ready, take a nice full breath in through your nose. With gratitude to you for joining me today, take your prayer hands up to the space between your eyebrows, lengthen up nice and tall. Wishing you peace in your thoughts. Prayer hands in front of your lips, peace in your words, and in front of your heart space. Peace in your actions.